Welcome back
And we're back.
to another episode of the Another Enemy podcast. It's your boy Kali Salam in the flesh.
Greg, DX. I said DX. GX, DJ GX. You already know.
Man. Yes, sir.
But I'm pointing it off to you like this, brother.
Alright, go for it.
You know what I'm saying? We just talking about this. You know, they saying it's pretty much a new wave of this coronavirus going on right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
A lot of people getting sick right now. You know, there's more deaths going around the United States and everything. And a lot of people is just getting ready to go back to work, right? So I was talking to somebody earlier and they was saying, what do you do? And I'm asking you this question, you know what I'm saying? I feel like you have a real good answer for this one. What do you do, bro, to make money or try to make money but without having to be out in the public, besides, you know what I'm saying, getting a job and doing that, you know, at home work?
Yeah.
What is another hustle, I should say, that people should do, you know?
Should do water.
Why the pandemic is still around, but they don't want to go out in public because they scared. You know, you might have kids, you might have elderlies around you, you know what I'm saying, who you know have a weaker immune system. So you know it's a good way of trying to make some money, you know what I'm saying, without having to go out there and be in the public. You know what I mean?
Well, the first thing is, for me, I would say you got to spend money to make money.
That's a fact.
So I mean, if you got some, you know, a little few dollars laying around, I would say invest in the stock market, man. If you got, you know, $15, $20, you know, but that's more so like long term anyway. So right off the bat, what should you do to make money? File for unemployment.
Okay, what about the people who, because you can't file for unemployment unless you get fired, you know what I'm saying? So what about the people that quit their job due to the circumstances, you know what I'm saying? What they do, you know what I mean? Like,
if you quit your job?
Yeah, if you quit your job. Because I know a couple people that actually quit their job and pretty much because of the pandemic. Yeah. And then now it's like you can't file for unemployment once you do that, you know what I'm saying? So what's another way?
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know, to be real. Okay. You got an answer?
I mean, not really, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's why I want to ask you this question.
It's kind of difficult to really make money and not have to go out in public for real.
Facts.
You know,
okay, let's not say out like, let's more say being around a bunch of people. Like, let's say you work at Walmart. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're around the employees that also work at Walmart, plus the shoppers at Walmart. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Let's use Walmart for example. But when I say going out, I mean like being in, maybe, how can I explain it? Not just, I guess, not being so much close to people, you know what I'm saying? Like,
what's a way you can make money?
Stay 6 feet away, you know what I'm saying? What's the way?
I mean, I think a lot of places have the proper precautions going on right now.
I don't think Walmart do, bro.
I haven't been to Walmart since this whole thing has started, you know what I'm saying? But I have been into a lot of Family Dollars, and they got the little plastic screens up and the 6 foot distance.
Whole Foods, bro. How you know what I'm saying?
Whole Foods, they have it to where you can only go up and down certain aisles. But like the aisles are one way. No.
You know exactly. So that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, you really gotta take a chance, bro, and go out there and get your stuff or not. But if you want to make money, I mean, you could sell stuff online. You know, I think that's a good way. You know, you could buy like stuff from different vendors and try to sell it online if you are, you know, business savvy.
Right.
That's what I think a lot of people have been trying to do that, especially lately. It's just like buy vendors lists and try to sell different things, create like a little so-called brand or whatnot. But you know, I mean, your options are slim in this country, bro. Because we live in
especially with the situation going on, you know.
For sure, so we live in a country that's such a capitalistic society that it's kind of difficult. Like, everybody works pretty much a 9 to 5. Everybody works a job where it's like it kind of forces you to live check to check anyway. So every single day in under normal circumstances without coronavirus, I feel like people are used to getting up and going to make money every single day and then surviving off of that for 1 week at a time, 2 weeks at a time.
Right.
So when something like this happens, you really start to notice how trash America really is, bro. Because everything's based off the money, and everything works off of the people who work the 9 to 5s. You know what I'm saying? Or the 3 to 8s or whatever the case may be. Those short shifts, the McDonald's, the Wendy's, the Walmarts, the Targets, the so on and so forth.
Right.
Everything is such, it relies on these people so much, bro. So for them to not have jobs is kind of difficult, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, bro. You know, I'm blessed, man, you know, to still be working, because a lot of people are not.
Right.
We're not so fortunate, you know what I mean?
It's a fact.
Yeah.
But no, we was talking about this earlier, bro. You said something about the whole Nick Cannon situation.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, you gotta even let me know, because I don't really know too much about it. Like that.
Okay.
So for me and the people that's listening right now, you know, let us all know.
This man's car is ridiculous, but So the Nick Cannon situation, basically he got released from Viacom because of some comments that he made on his podcast, which essentially he was quoting from the so-called Honorable Elijah Muhammad. If you don't know who that is, he's a figure that was a leader of the Nation of Islam, you know, some years ago, man, maybe 30, 40 years ago, something like that. And so he was quoting from Elijah Muhammad, who was basically speaking on black people being the original Jews, right? And not only black people being the original Jews, but white people lacking melanin, and that being the reason why they are. This nigga look like Joe Dirt. This nigga. Yeah, you ain't know shit.
How you doing with me? Jimmy Too Wild in the building. How you doing with me? I know, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, dumb, bro. But it was with who? Anyways, so Nick Cannon, he was basically quoting from Elijah Muhammad. He was talking about how black people were the original Jews, and how because white people lack melanin, that's the reason why they are so violent towards black people, why they hate black people so much, because it has, I guess, created a sense of jealousy within the hearts of white people. You know what I'm saying? And I guess Viacom wanted him to apologize for making so-called anti-Semitic comments. I don't really feel like it was anti-Semitic, but hey, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know what I mean? But yeah, how you feel about that, bro?
I mean, like I said, I didn't know too much about it. That's why, I had to ask. But it's like, for them to cancel Wild 'N Out, that was the main thing I had seen. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I didn't know the background behind it and all that. But it was like, bro, that show's been running for a while, man. Like,
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? For a while. And I was just telling you earlier, like, that was a show that Kevin Hart was like a permanent member of, you know what I'm saying, at one point in time. And you got to think how big Kevin Hart is now. So just imagine how long that's been running, bro. But I feel like that's just one of the shows, bro, I never seen come to an end, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Like, one of those shows that, you know what I'm saying, that like, oh, they gonna keep on going. He gonna keep on going. He got new people and all that. You gotta think we watched the 85 South podcast, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a reason why we watched that, because they came from that, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So it's crazy, bro. That's how I feel.
I think Wild 'N Out will eventually come back, bro. I just think that he might need they just gonna put him on ice for a little minute.
I've been
seeing
so many memes and videos of them saying like Michael Blackson about to be the host. They about to change the name to Wild Out or some shit, something like that. Or I seen one that had Gary Owens. Like it was a whole bunch. I'm like, bro.
My question would
if they're gonna do that, they just don't do it at all, because I feel like nobody's gonna watch it.
Yeah.
So you're gonna, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna lose money.
My question would be, does Nick Cannon own the rights to Wild 'N Out? Because at that point you can't. And I would assume that he does, just because of the type of businessman that he is. He seems like he would be smart in that regard, but you never know, bro. You don't know what's in the terms of these people's contracts. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
But I think the conversation of black people being the original Jews and, white people lacking melanin, and that being in that going into the inferiority complex that they have, that's a conversation to be had, I think, and people need to really do their history. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I agree with all of that, but black people being the original Jews, I mean, that's just like, to me, common sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When you go back to the Israelites, when you go back to all of the tribes of Israel, so on and so forth, when you even look at the description of Jesus or Moses or any of the prophets for that matter, peace be upon them all, it's like they weren't white. So it's like who, you know what I'm saying? It's like what would their people have been if they weren't white? You know what I'm saying? So it's a conversation to be had.
Okay. But now I was gonna wait to jump into this one, but I'm gonna go ahead and jump into it right now. You know what I'm saying? I asked you a question earlier.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm gonna give you the reason why, but let the people know why. You know what I'm saying? So, when you decide to have children, you know what I'm saying? Are you gonna raise them? The first question was, did you feel like you had a decent childhood growing up?
Yeah. And my question was, my answer was yes and no. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much.
You want to explain, or you want to?
I say yes and no because as those of you, we touched on this in the podcast before, but we haven't really gone too deep into it.
Mm-hmm.
But through a lot of the things that I went through in my childhood and just my upbringing, I think a lot of that led to me being diagnosed with depression.
Okay.
So for those aspects, I would say no. But on the other side, I didn't really want for a lot as a child. Pretty much everything that I really wanted, I got as far as, like material things. I think that the family that I was raised around, as far as my aunts, my grandma, my grandpa, my mom, I had a very solid family foundation as far as that goes. My relationship with my dad was a little weird, you know what I'm saying? But I would say overall, it was like, I would say half and half, good and bad, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Now, the next question, would you consider raising your children whenever decide to have kids? And hold up, question is, would you consider raising your own children the same way that your mom and your father had raised you?
Would I raise my children the same way my mom and dad raised me?
Yeah.
Right off the bat, the way my dad raised me, absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? If I'm being real.
And we ain't gotta get into that, you know what I'm saying? Okay.
Just because I feel like a lot of the things that you're supposed to be taught as far as your father goes, I don't feel like I really learned that from my dad. You know what I'm saying? To be real. But as far as my mom goes, there's some things I would take and there's some things that I would leave off. You know what I'm saying? I feel like my mom was, in some regards, a little too soft on us. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like it was
you don't feel like you got your ass beat.
Even though I think she was a little bit harder on me, I just feel like she played the role of a mom. She did what she was supposed to do as a mom. Moms are supposed to be soft and nurturing with their kids, and things of that nature. And I think she did that perfectly. Like, I wouldn't take anything away from my mom. It's just that for me as the man raising my child, I would be a little more strict in certain regards.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some things that, my mom did when I was young that I think, it I don't want to say hurt me, but it, I'm trying to find the words for it, bro. Like, I feel like because my mom was so young when she had me, that she was still growing into being a woman herself. Okay. So she was still, I don't want to say immature, but she still had those like kind of young desires that everyone has. You know what I'm saying? She still wanted to be, like certain relationships I didn't like, you know what I'm saying? That had an effect on me, little stuff like that. So I overall, as far as how I would raise my kids differently, I think I would give them a much more strict, not strict in the sense of being mean to them, but more disciplined lifestyle. Yeah. And I would definitely want to raise my kids with the mother of my children with us all together. Gotcha. Versus my mom here, my dad there, and we're going to see my dad on the weekend, and I'm with my mom every day, but she's working, and I just feel like that doesn't really give a productive lifestyle for a kid, if that makes sense. Okay. You know what I'm saying? How would you answer that, my brother?
I mean, I feel the same way. Yeah. But the reality why I asked you that question is because I want to know pretty much like basically if the way you were raised, you know what I'm saying, it takes a toll on who you are today, which I feel like it most definitely do. You know
For
what I'm
sure.
saying?
I would say so.
So yeah, if you agree, I'm glad you say that.
Yeah.
So at this point, would you want your children to be exactly how you are?
Today,
Yes.
um,
And the reason why I say, do I want to? Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
exactly like I am.
Like you gotta think. You gotta think. Like think about. All right. So you said no.
No, not exactly. There are some parts of me that I definitely would want my kids to. Some parts of me that I would want to carry on. Yeah,
carry on.
but there are a lot of things that I don't want to raise my kids, and that every single day now, before I have kids, I'm trying to even change about myself to this day.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I would say to this day, you know what I'm saying? But I think that I think being raised the way that I was, it came with its gifts and it came with its curses.
Okay.
And a lot of those things now I'm trying to, I guess, unlearn so I can replace those habits or those morals or those principles that I was raised to accept and hold on to and gravitate towards. I'm trying to unlearn a lot of those things now and replace them with things that are better.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say I want my kids to be exactly like me. I would want my kids to be all the great parts of me and nothing like the worst parts of me. If that makes sense.
Got you.
You know, and I'm trying to do everything I can every single day actively to make sure that that is the reality. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
What you,
I touched on a couple subjects though. What you got? You know.
Yeah. Before we go off of that, you know what I'm saying? What you know? Let me hear your response to that. You know, how do you think that? You know, would you agree with me on there are certain great things that you probably learned from your childhood and bad things or traumatic things?
That's a fact. Like I said, it's like a lot of stuff we can go back to. I mean, shit, we on the podcast, we talking about it. Like one thing you gotta think, you feel me? Our dads was they was doing what they was doing in the streets. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day,
no
like,
incrimination.
Of course, that's not something I can learn and then turn into something good.
For sure.
Now you can go from the hustle just trying to get the money and work on the money. Yeah, that may be the case, but at the end of the day, it's like that was a way that you knew how to at that moment because that was somebody that you looked up to did. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of, like I said, it's when it comes to my mom, it's like it's it's a back and forth thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's to this day you still see certain things in both of your parents and you like, I can't have that around my kids when they get older and all that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I am happy to the person I became, you know what I'm saying? Like I am happy to who I am at the moment, you know what I mean? So I just want, you know what I'm saying, to let my children know there's always light at the end of it, you know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind me raising them how they raised me, but I just take the street life and living in the hood. Yeah. I'll try to take that out. But at the end of the day, I low-key want them to experience that, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I want to have no privileged kids. I want you to know what the struggle is like. I want you to know what it was like to have to put a pot on the stove. You feel me? Take it upstairs to put it in the bathtub so you can have a hot bath.
You said you don't want them to know?
No, I want them to experience that just to know, you know what I'm saying, how it was, like how it could be.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? All the glitters ain't gold, bro. So, but I wouldn't like necessarily raise them now. I just like, this is what it is. This is what it could be. Don't, you know what I'm saying? This is life. Yeah. And I wrote a song about that, bro. I was gonna do that song
for sure. What do you think the biggest lesson that you have learned from just your life in general, whether that's from your parents or grandparents or whatever the case may be?
That's a good
What's
question.
the biggest lesson that you've learned that you will want to instill in your kids?
That's a good question.
Or what's one of the worst things you've been through that you wouldn't want your kids to experience? Or both, however you want to go about it.
That's a good one. I like that.
Deep one, huh?
That's a deep one.
You want me to go first? I got my answer.
Go ahead.
I would say the best thing I learned, and this is not even necessarily from my parents or anyone, the biggest lesson that I've learned in life, and I guess I learned this from my experience with my family and just coming up, is that as a man, your number one job in life as a man is to be a leader. And that doesn't necessarily mean like owning your own business and being a leader, but you are a leader of your family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? A woman's role in life is not necessarily to lead. They lead in certain aspects, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying women should just follow everything a man says. But overall, a man is going to make those tough decisions for his family, for his wife, for his kids, X, Y, and Z, brothers, sisters, whatever the case may be. But no man can lead the way he needs to be, the way he needs to lead if he doesn't know how to be led. So it's a give and take when it comes to certain things, man. And the only way a man can be led is if he truly devotes his entire lifestyle to what's right and staying away from what's wrong. You see what I'm saying? And I would say that's the biggest lesson that I would want to instill in my children is knowing, understanding what to follow and what to stay away from in life. You know what I mean? Got an answer for me, bro?
I got an answer, but I wouldn't say this is like this is a good example I can give, but I wouldn't say it's the biggest. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
Go for it.
But I guess the biggest lesson I probably, you know what I'm saying, we'll learn, like, it's ups and downs in life.
Yeah, for sure.
And when I say that, it's like, let's think about financial issues, okay?
Yeah.
So it was to a point where, and this is something that I really don't like talking about, but it's my podcast. I'm talking about what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget, like I said, bro, from the age, from when I can remember being born all the way up until, well, I don't remember being born, obviously, but from being born all the way up until I say about, let me think, like maybe 11, 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't need or want for anything in life, you know what I'm saying? And that goes back to, of course, my dad being a street nigga. So, and then boom, shit happens, he go to jail, and then it's like, I've been through so much shit since that happened, even to this day.
Yeah.
To this day. You know what I'm saying? Even to this day, you know what I'm saying? And of course now it don't matter from now because I'm older, so it's like a lot of issues that I have in life or not has nothing to do with my parents and nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? Shit that I put on myself. But I remember, bro, my dad going to jail, bro, and after that, bro, it was like struggle, like I never experienced that, you know what I'm saying? Like I've never experienced so much struggle in my life. Yeah. But you gotta think, I also thought about like, yo, it could be way worse. Plus there's people out here going like went through this shit their whole life, you know what I'm saying? Like they didn't have the dad there, period, even, you know what I'm saying? So but I guess I wouldn't say that's the biggest lesson, but that's an example I can give, bro. There's ups and downs in life, man. And it's like one day everything peaches and cream, and next day it's thunder and lightning, bro.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? That's one example I can give.
Yeah. Do you think that because this kind of touches on something you said in the last podcast when we were talking about the zodiac signs, and you were saying that they say that Geminis, they hold stuff in until it just all comes exploding out. You know what I'm saying? Do you feel like, you know, a lot of your childhood ups and downs, have you been able to cope with a lot of those things, or is it just like it is what it is type mentality?
And that's just speaking strictly on like childhood, like
anything, just any and all the ups and downs, from your dad going to jail to all of the things that spiraled from that to now to the past few years to
it's dang, it's like one thing I can really say, but I don't even want to put this on the air, you know what I'm saying? But let me try to think of another one.
Do you think this is like a completely different question?
Go ahead.
We're gonna take a quick break. All right, we're back, man. I had to take a quick little break to adjust the cameras. But yeah, we was talking about, you know, how childhood things, I guess, affected us or whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Do you think that a lot of the issues that you may have had later in life, like let's say the past 5 years or so, right? Do you think that the reason you went through those issues did that have anything to do with the way that you were raised? Or anything you went through in your childhood that maybe you held on to and it somehow transferred over into your life now in the past, like Just say 3, 4, 5 years.
You got an answer for that one?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I would say.
Think about that one for a little second.
I would say yes. I think a lot of the reason why I have been the way that I have been in life is because of the way that I was raised. Like, for example, reacting to certain situations in an aggressive manner. I feel like not necessarily directly from my parents, but just growing up where we grew up. You know what I'm saying? And I think part of that does have to do with my dad not being around, because I feel like how a man is supposed to react in situations, you learn that from your dad. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You should, at least. You know what I'm saying? So I think in regards to reacting and things of that nature and just knowing how to communicate with people, I think that's something that I had to really proactively learn, I guess, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
I guess I can agree with that. That situation, that's another thing. Like, I can't touch on too much about you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, bro.
Well, we got a few more minutes, bro. Anything else you want to touch on, man?
Did you have any more topics, bro? I got one more topic.
Ahead,
this is like super left, but it was something I saw on Twitter the other day. And let me see if I can go to the tweet real quick. You
hear supposed to be a new stimulus check coming up.
Yeah, bro, I need that. You know what I'm I don't need it, but I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? The stimulus check is just, that's a whole topic within itself.
That's
bro.
how that
nigga You think Trump's gonna win? I think he's gonna win.
If this happens before,
you might want to watch your drink, dog. That tail getting a little.
If this happens before everybody goes to vote, which is in November, I think he will win. But then again, I don't know, bro, because it's like you still got the people that it's not Trump supported, and this is about to probably be like the last thing we talk about. But unless we can get your talking answer. But
this kind of goes into it a little bit. I could tie it.
But this like you still got those people that's not Trump supporters that's still gonna take that money, bro.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Now, unless it's a situation to where
no brainer.
This coronavirus, this COVID-19 is like gonna be continuously happening, bro. Like it's not gonna be an end to it, or nobody gonna know. Then I feel like he's gonna really win, because it's like, shoot, this nigga giving us money. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't no telling who he going against Joe Biden. So it's like niggas like, oh, well, is Joe Biden gonna do the same thing? Like, you know what I'm saying? We don't know. Like, unless he says that, and even then, people might be like, you just saying that just because you want to win. But I don't know. This is going to be interesting, bro. That's all I can say.
You plan on voting?
I don't know, bro. I really don't get into politics like that, to be honest with you. So
they say that no vote is a vote for the worst. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be honest, bro.
I probably will.
They are both two of the worst.
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, if I vote, it's the thing. Cause you got them, I don't know what they're called, but it's like the two candidates behind them. Yeah. If I vote, I probably will vote for them, but I don't know nothing about them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, I'm not about to just randomly vote for somebody I don't know nothing about. And on two, I don't want to go against, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, what's the word? You're not a Democrat, you're not a Republican.
Like independent?
That's what it is?
Yeah, pretty much.
You feel me? I feel like that's what I am. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I just can't. I can't choose.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Bro,
I can't vote for Trump, and it's like I don't know if I should vote for Biden. You know what I'm saying? So
Trump is trash. Biden is trash. But
so
I'm gonna be honest.
That's what I'm saying. Like, are you voting this year?
Yeah, and I'm only voting for two solid reasons. First of all, Trump is a blatant racist, which I respect him for being so honest. However, I really feel like if he continues to spew the kind of rhetoric that he has done for the past 4 years, it's going to be a real civil war, but it ain't going to be the North and the South. It's going to be, I feel like black people against everybody, for real, bro. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay. And I don't feel like black people are in a position right now to where we could go to war with anybody and win. You know what I'm saying? That's one reason. The second reason is, Joe Biden, with Trump, if he wins again, he has the opportunity to fill two Supreme Court justice positions, and those are lifetime positions, which will make it unevenly balanced amongst the Democrats and the Republicans. I wouldn't say I'm a Democrat. I wouldn't say I'm a Republican. However, the things that the Republicans want to get passed, for as long as I have been looking into politics, I have disagreed with almost all of it. And except for gun rights for people, I agree with them on that people should have gun rights. But for the most part, I think a lot of the things that they want to pass is just ridiculous to me. So I would like to keep it, balanced at least, so that it's not just Republicans making choices for everyone across the country. Because this is something that people really got to understand, especially people who are young and voting this year, or voting for this coming election. These are lifetime positions. This is not the president. I'm talking about the Supreme Court justices. These are lifetime positions. These people have the real opportunity to make real changes in our lives. And these people will most likely be in their position for the rest of our lives. Even if you're 18 years old and this is your first time voting, you need to understand that. These are going to be decisions that are going to affect not only you, but your kids and your kids' kids. Get that through your head. Stop. We could talk about Biden being trash. We could talk about Biden being trash and Trump being trash. They're both. It's like I think Farrakhan said that when Trump went against Hillary, it was like voting for Satan versus Lucifer. You know what I'm saying? They're one and the same. But you got to look. You can't just look at the presidential aspect of things. You have to look at everything that comes with each one getting into office, and that is enough for me to vote for Joe Biden, even though I think Joe Biden is just as racist as Trump, if I'm being real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, one thing that, and we could close it out on this, one thing that people who vote for Trump, I hear a lot of people saying, is because he is somehow like a Christian, I guess.
That's what they're saying? Like,
don't ask me. But it takes me into this topic. I saw this girl ask this question on Twitter, and I just wanted to get your opinion on it real quick, bro. She said, why do people get abortions? This is a serious question, a serious topic. Let's talk about it. Right. So my first thing would be to you is, how do you feel about abortions? Do you think it's right? You think it's wrong?
I feel like it's up to the parents. Mm-hmm. This is my thing. This is my thing. I'm not trying to bring a child. Now, of course, you feel me? You do what you do to make a baby.
Facts.
And that's the first mistake. You know what I'm saying? If you don't protect yourself, like I said, you can't protect yourself. Mishaps may happen. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole other topic. But at the end of the day, why would you, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm against abortion, but I'm not saying like I'm with abortion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But my whole thing is like, would you? I can answer that question with a question. That's going to make it better. Would you rather bring a child into the world, right, and struggle to the point where you're struggling and the child is struggling, or would you rather have everybody saying like, "Oh, don't do it because you're killing a human being"? If that's what, you know what I'm saying, they say.
Yeah. So would I rather bring a child in?
Would you rather
knowing
bring a
that
child
we're going
in,
to struggle,
knowing you don't have nowhere to stay,
or get an abortion and the kid doesn't struggle?
No. Get it. No. Would you rather get an abortion? That's what I mean. Like, would you? You know what I'm saying? Get an abortion to the point where, let me try to reword it. Because it's a couple ways I can go with this one. Right? It's crazy. Okay. Would you rather bring a child in the world, right? And then you're gonna struggle. Like you're gonna struggle. You have nowhere to stay. You have no car, no job, no nothing. Yeah. But you're still about to have this child, and you're gonna struggle once you have this child. Or would you rather have an abortion and have people consider it as you killing a human being? Because that's what people want to say. Once you tell everybody, oh, I had an abortion. Why would you do that? I'm pro-life. I don't think you should have an abortion. You know what I'm saying?
First things first. I don't care what anybody who says pro-life has to say about anything, because y'all niggas are pro-life when it's convenient. Y'all niggas are pro-life when it's a kid who you don't have anything to do with, but when black people get shot, where's the pro-life people? Facts. I ain't seen no pro-life person at the protest yet. I ain't seen one picture of a pro-life sign.
That's a fact.
So I don't care what y'all niggas say. Y'all claim y'all Christian, but y'all don't even know what Jesus really looked like. Get out of here. Anyways, Me personally, I am not for abortion unless it's a few circumstances.
What's those?
The woman gets raped
Okay.
or molested or something along those lines.
Okay.
The child birth is going to somehow kill the parent, kill the mom. And really, that's about it.
That's it.
To me, you know what I'm saying? So if I know I'm going to struggle,
yeah, okay, go ahead. That's my question.
you know, I'm Muslim. You know what I'm saying? So I'm giving y'all what Islam says about it, and I agree with everything in Islam. So those are the only two instances that abortion is permissible, because as a Muslim, you should already have it in your mindset that what's destined for you is destined for you.
Okay.
So if that's for you and your kid to be somehow in poverty, you know, find your lesson in that. You know what I'm saying?
I can agree with that.
And you know, I don't think that just because
Maybe I'll change my mind.
just because you have the idea that you're going to struggle, I think that shows a lot of your faith in God right there. Because I feel like that shows a lot of your faith in God. I just feel like if I know that my wife is pregnant or my girl's pregnant and we're having a kid, even though it may look like we're struggling, that may have been the blessing that we needed to get out of the struggle. You know what I'm saying?
Now, what if a situation where, and this is crazy, what if it's, because, okay, no. What if it's a situation to where the female might not know who the baby dad is? It was like a one night stand thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, does that, because you can't say, this is a blessing for me and my boyfriend. Like, you gotta think it's girls having babies with dudes they don't know, bro.
You gotta deal with it. Take it on the chin. You can't just be out here having one night stands and not deal with the consequences. And sometimes the consequences is you gotta raise this life. You know,
but I do agree with the whole rape situation. Though, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's
for
and
sure.
the reason why it's like, there's really no reason why, but I do know somebody that's been in that situation before.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And they were not forced, but they had to have the baby. Yeah, it was a whole bunch of going on.
Yeah,
bro. So I agree with that, bro.
Yeah, bro. I think those would be the only situations that I could see, you know, abortion really being justified if it's going to cause some kind of harm to the mother of the child, possibly
right.
death, because that does happen a lot of times, especially with black women.
Yeah.
Or if the woman got raped, because I mean that's kind of what kind of life are you really going to provide for a child that you didn't even accidentally have? Someone forced you into this.
That's,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then how you really raise your child telling them that your dad raped me, and that's why it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's kind of like a little traumatizing.
Yeah, for sure. But other than that, man, I think just take care of the child. You know, there's always abortion. I mean, not abortion. There's always adoption. You know what I'm saying? As an option. So, I mean, but me personally, I'm not getting rid of any of my kids, bro.
That's a fact. So if I did it, I ain't gonna go there. But if I did it, bro, yeah, I gotta, handle my business, take care of my responsibilities, bro. So
yeah,
simple as that.
But on this topic, in the wise words of Michael Jackson, the kid is not my son. So stop hitting me up acting like a motherfuckers. It's been another episode of the Another Enemy podcast. It's your boy Khalid Salam. Follow me on all social media platforms. Instagram at Honorable Khalid. Twitter at Just Leaf. Make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel, Another Enemy podcast. Make sure y'all follow all the social media platforms. They will be down below. I'm gonna let my brother close it out. Cause you're fucking up a happy home.
Yo, it's Greg, DJ GX. Follow me on Instagram at G_18. Follow me on Steve. Follow me on Snapchat, GXATM. Group Instagram, Another _enemy. This dude right here. She says I am the one. I wish they knew what we was talking about. But yeah, it has been another episode of Another Enemy podcast, man. I just want to thank y'all for listening, man.
You're